Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee and Darts episode 44. We have the illustrious Canadian Jim Long with us this evening. Thanks for stopping in and watching. We're going to pepper him with some questions, ask him about playing darts with Dawson and Michelle, as well as what it's like to be on the big stage in the biggest tournament the world has to offer. But before we get into that, I do want to thank my sponsors, of course, Shot Darts at shotdarts.com. They just released 2 new barrels to celebrate their 50th anniversary. I do have some reviews up at Atomic Darts on YouTube, so check those out. And check them out just for some really cool barrels and other nice stuff that they offer for the darts community. And, of course, Magicwear, where you can get really nice jerseys like the one I am currently wearing. Very comfortable, worth spending the day in. Get it customized or just pick one up the counter and they'll help you out, and that's at magicwear.com. So without further ado, let's bring in our guest, Mr. Jim Long. How's it going, sir?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me.
I just had a technical difficulty. That's really awesome. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, so Jim, how you doing? I'll bring you back on the show again. How's it going?
Good. It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me on the show tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. We'll start off and we'll get into some questions. We'll ask you a little bit about darts life. What's it like being a Canadian and playing darts? Because when when it comes to hockey, USA is the best, right? We could have a debate about that forever. But how did you get into darts? I mean, what brought you to the game of darts?
Honestly, it's a great story. I love telling it because I was just out of high school and played school sports my whole life and baseball and stuff like that. Not so much hockey, surprisingly, but anyway, and I was out of high school and we used to play pool down at a local tavern in the small town that I'm from, and I ended up getting a job working straight afternoons. So I was on afternoons 5 days a week, and I came back off of the afternoon shift and I went down to play pool one night, and everybody in the bar is playing darts, and they're at the back of the room. I didn't even know there was dartboards in my own hometown there, and they needed one more guy for a blind draw, and so I was standing in front of the room. So they got me back there, and I played that night. I had to borrow somebody's darts. My first set of darts I ever bought, I had just gave the money to the guy who owned the bar, and he went into London and picked me up a set one day. And the guy that I started playing darts with in that bar is Jamie Hind, and him and I are still on the same dart team 32 years later.
Wow. Oh, wow. So how'd you do?
Actually, we won that blind draw. Me and a guy named Ron Reed. Yep.
Nice.
First time I remember it.
So you're hooked, after you get the adrenaline of winning, it's kind of like, why not?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was fun, and it's so much more social than pool. You know what I mean? Like you're talking and hanging out, and I love the game. And then we just started looking for, back then there was, no Facebook, internet or anything. So I know I'm telling you how old I am, but anyways, it was just flyers. You'd see like an advertisement for a dart tournament at one of your local bars, and then him and I would just hop in the car and go and play darts every weekend. And honestly, there's many years where we played, from January to May, almost every single weekend somewhere.
Wow. That's commitment. So, wow. So do you remember what your average was for that first tournament? No.
Oh, heck no. No, I don't even know. I couldn't tell you if I hit a single double or not. I don't remember that. I played in a league when one of my first years. Well, yeah, one of my first years playing, and I think I don't think they kept the average past 100 or something like that, but I think I averaged 60 in my first year.
Nice.
But there was no Dart Connect, people were writing it down with a piece of paper and keeping track. And so I really didn't keep track at all ever until Dart Connect came out.
Nice. Well, 60, I mean, that's a good average for someone first getting into the game, and you don't have to hit doubles as long as you have a good partner. So, they can back it up. So
Yep.
You just got to hit the power numbers. Speaking of partners, you've had a particular gentleman that's been on the show before, and that's Dawson Michelle. What was it like playing with the youngster?
It's funny. I had only spoken to Dawson one other time in my life, and that was in Kingston. When he first got into the adults, I spoke to him up in Kingston, Ontario at a tournament. And it was pretty brief. And I've never played against Dawson in my life, and I've never played with Dawson in my life. And the announcement was a little bit late coming. I didn't realize I was his partner until right before the event. And he was fantastic, honestly. And I told him straight up right from the beginning that, he's going to be deciding who plays when and making the captain decisions, because the guy was a professional dart player. He's earned that for sure, and so it was great. We had a great time, a lot of dinners, away from the building and stuff and away from the venue. And we just had a great time, and he was an easy guy to play with. And it was, as good as the Ali Pali was, that was probably a highlight for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it's always fun when you're playing for your country with someone else. It takes a little bit of pressure off, but it can add some pressure. And you guys did really well in that tournament for Canada. You guys came up against some heat, Australia, and you guys, you went
Italy.
Deeper than anybody thought, at least the bookies. So
Italy too. Italy was incredible. I was told when we got the draw that Italy was not that very good usually. And both those guys who played for Team Italy, they were attempting to get their tour cards. And so they had gone and played heavy duty competitive darts. And I think Canada and Italy, I think our averages were the second highest combined averages ever in the tournament.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I remember watching it. It was a couple years ago, of course. And that was fun. I think USA did fairly well in that tournament as well, at least better than we typically do. We're normally first round outers, and I think we got to second round that year. But, it was nice. North America had a good, outpour, which is good. I think in the last couple of years, we've been doing well in the World Championships. I know that we've gotten to second round the last year anyway. And then speaking of World Championships, you got to go to the Ali Pali, play there, and you made it to the second round. It's a nice little payday. What was that like getting to go and you're in the World Championships? So you're there with some of the biggest names ever in darts. What was that like?
The thing about the Ali Pali was I never really it was right in that first year where the CDC made the deal with the PDC to become, affiliated and send players there. And when I joined the CDC, it was just because the competition is so good. You can play your best and get beat. And I enjoy just the challenging and the playing good games. And it never occurred to me that I'd be playing on a stage at the Alexandra Palace at any time soon. So it was pretty surreal that, I watched it, in December and January. And then, 6 months later, I hear that maybe one of us is going. And then 3 months after that, I find out it's me. And 3 months after that, you're in the back room and there's posters of the pros and there's, it's just so professional. You don't really see a lot of the pros. They don't hang out there. A lot of the top guys don't hang out at the Ali Pali. They just are there on the day that they play. So I didn't see many of the pros there while I was on, but a handful, and it's pretty surreal. The sitting back, waiting for your opportunity to go to the stage. It's pretty nerve wracking and pretty, it's pretty intense for sure.
Yeah. And then I can't remember the gentleman that you played his name, but I know that earlier that year, he'd won his first PDC tour tournament. Of course, it was, one of the regular weekend tournaments, but he had just won that. He was playing really well. Did you know that he got fined for playing bad against you?
Yeah, I do. I know all about that, and it's too bad because I don't really want to get into it too much, just because Mickey, it's not my business. I can say that I'm pretty sure it wasn't because he played poorly that he got fined. That's just what they called it. But Mickey Mansell's a great dart player who is obviously, a professional who should have won. Let's be honest. But he has a lot of issues on that stage, and I think and I'm just gonna guess it's because he's quite a slow player, and the pressure to entertain and shoot a little quicker, and I think is just there, and I think maybe it messes with his rhythm, and he puts too much pressure on himself. But he's still playing on the Pro Tour now. And I know it's been an off year for everybody, but he's still, winning matches against top players. He's a fantastic dart player who, unfairly got fined, in my opinion. And the fact they called it because he didn't play up to his level I don't really think that's why it was.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you. My thoughts on that situation and other situations are that some players do really well when they're not on the camera, they're not on the TV, they're not on the big stage. There's just a comfort level, and when you get to that big stage hockey, it's uncomfortable. And we're talking the worlds here. It's not like there's 7,000 people there. It's massive.
Well, there's 4,000 or so watching in the room, but it sounds like 10,000. And there's millions of people watching on the cameras, and there's cameras above the dartboard. There's cameras beside the dartboard. The people that I watch from my couch are standing at the front of the room, and they're calling the scores. And, you turn around and you're at your table to get a drink of water, and the people are in the crowd. They're looking up at you, and they just want you to look at them and wave. And, it's intimidating. And obviously the money is huge for those pro players. If they win a round or two, that can keep them in the top 32 even, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's a pretty big deal for pros. And so, yeah, the pressure's on, and it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Of course, I've been to tournaments, Las Vegas. I got to go for 3 years, got to see you play in Las Vegas, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And Michael Smith. Okay. Well, I mean, that's like I literally bumped into Dawson in the restroom. Like we bumped. That's how I met Dawson the first time I was ever at a tournament.
Okay.
Of that capacity, because of course here in America we don't have the PDC. They come once a year, and it had been many years, and then they've been here the last 3 years, and this year unfortunately it was supposed to be New York, and that didn't happen. Yeah. Which for like I met some of the big players through that, and that was exciting as a fan and as a player. I'm just kind of curious. Can you talk a little bit more about the feelings, the excitement? I mean, you did win first round, and I get that the match wasn't really up to par for either of you guys as to where you want to. What was that like? And was your game off because his game was off?
Something, I think that it goes both ways. Yeah, I think, and anybody who's even if you watched the semifinals with James Wade and Rob Cross the other night, neither guy got going. And so, you just try too hard. And like that match, I was so worried all along of just shooting decent, I just wanted to shoot decent scores. And, I didn't expect to win. I mean, like maybe some guys go thinking that they've got a chance to winning and stuff, but I just have never been like an overconfident player and stuff like that. I just wanted to go and have a good time. But the pressure just to shoot a good score is more than, the pressure that I've experienced, playing in national championships here in Canada and stuff. And it's just that heavy. The pressure is just that big. Don't forget, like, you're standing there at the table. You can look up at the screen, and there's, you can see a large picture of Mickey on the screen, and that's going to be you in a second, and you're going to be on the screen for everybody. And I started with a 180. I felt like it was going to be easy, and then I just started trying too hard. And the doubles, as soon as I got to a double, it was like, I didn't have to hit a score anymore, and it was pretty easy. And that's why I won. Is my finishing was around the 40 or 45%, but it was all because I just try so hard to get a good score. And I'm sure Mickey was the same way. The pressure's all on him because he shouldn't lose to me, right? And he had some bad luck in the past on the stage. So, I think that if one of us could have just got going better, then we both could have played better. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think, I don't like we talk about the match the other night. Players tend to play off each other, especially when you've been in the game as long as you have. If someone's not throwing as well, it's just kind of a fact of matter. If you've ever played against someone who's having an off night, your averages tend to go down. It's human nature.
When you think the first thing you're thinking, okay, he just shot 45. I need to jump on that because his next shot's probably going to be a 140. So you want to, you get that mentality that you got to jump on that shot, and you try to, not feel that way, but it does happen, especially in pressure situations and stuff. And I think that's kind of what happened there. Was it just was like, surprise, holy cow, I thought that would be a 140, I thought that was going to be a good shot. And, I don't know how he felt, because, obviously he didn't know me at all, but I watch him win that Pro Tour, and in the high 90s all day. So, it is what it is. The pressure, and I'm a slow starter anyway. Like when I played Benito, I come out and started real slow there as well. But, I'm a fan of darts. Maybe it wouldn't have been such a big deal, but I watch it and I love watching the crowd and stuff, and it's easy to get caught up in it.
Yeah. Well, and Benito, you went 3-2. I mean, it's not like you got smoked in round two. It was a 3-2 score. It was a really nice match. In my opinion, watching it, it seemed like you had more confidence, being at the Aki. It's like you almost felt like, okay, I belong here. Was that kind of the case?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd get a second shot. Like I said, I assumed Mickey would be great, and I had my one turn. And so, I'll be honest, I got to England on the Tuesday, and I played a lot of 121 with my son. He was with me, and we went to a little pub down the street, played 121 a few times every evening. And so after the Mickey match, the next full week before I had to play, because it was a full 6 days before I had to play Benito, every morning I was up before everybody and shooting 50 triple 20s just to get on the score better. And another thing too is kind of funny is when you're in the back room, you shoot your bullseye and you see who's going first, and then when the match in front of you gets to be where one guy looks like he's going to win, they bring the next two players to a warm-up room closer to the stage. So they took Mickey and I up to this warm-up room, which is close to the stage, so they get us there quickly. And there's a TV in there, two dartboards that are in a little tent area, and you're pretty close together. And the match in front of us was 2-0, and it turned around, and the other guy won the next 3 sets, and it turned out that it was longer, waiting in that back room than they expected for us. And Mickey was very quiet. He didn't speak to me, not one word, the whole time we were back there. Benito, on the other hand, I threw one. He's a professional. I don't want to bother him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to throw him off or bother him. So I didn't say anything. But Benito, first my first shot, he's like talking to me right away. And, I find out he's a tattoo artist part-time, and, just real friendly, just a little more relaxed, comfortable. Just everything was more comfortable the second time.
Yeah. Well, Benito's been around and he's done well at, up to that point on stage. The last year or so, he's been a little bit quieter. But at that point, he was having a really good 2 or 3 years there. I had high hopes that we would see him, get into the top 20 and stick that out and be good, because I think he's a good darts player. I like his personality. I'm kind of curious, you've been playing some virtual stuff, and we're going to get to kind of playing Michael Smith. My son loves Michael Smith, so I have to talk a little bit about that because he is watching in the other room. But you've been playing the virtual game for the last 6 months, like kind of the rest of us. How's that been? And I know those that are watching, you were in the finals for the championship dart circuit. I can't say CDC because in the news right now, the CDC is not what you want to say. So the championship dart circuit, you were in the finals for Series 2, which unfortunately I thought we could jab a little bit about that from a winner standpoint, but you still were in the finals, which was a nice final. It was great. And Will Stewart, of course, he's a friend of the show, and I love Will. But what's it been like playing virtually?
It's funny. I've had a webcam for years, and I just never thought the webcam darts would be for me. And I just thought, I just didn't bother. So when COVID hit, it was pretty quick to get it set up, and organized. It's very different. You just have to learn the pace. If you don't have a TV set up to watch the other guy, it's very difficult, just for pace wise. Because, when you're playing in a bar or in a Legion or a facility, you can see him shooting. Okay, he's moving. Now it's your time to shoot. You know what I mean? But if you don't have a TV, so you can at least watch his darts, 1 board, 2 in the board, and now it's my turn. You know what I mean? It's rough, but I started out playing tournaments out of Croatia. It was a game every day, and I played like some of the close to pro players over there, and the difference is they are so fast. Like they're shooting like almost while I'm shooting. You know what I mean? And they really get the pace going, and that. But I take it for what it is. It's good darts if you just accept it for what it is. If you just play, because you know what? Like I'm playing guys. I played Joe Huffman on was that Sunday? Saturday. It was. Saturday. I played Joe on Saturday in the finals there. I've only played Joe one other time, and now like Joe, and he shot fantastic. But when else would I get a chance to play Joe? I've played guys, semi-pro players in Europe, and there's so many great dart players, like so many that are, if you're just a little bit off, they're going to beat you pretty easily. So, I play matches with Adam Stella. I played him once in live, and then now I played him like 5 times online. So this is an opportunity, like especially with Dart Connect, Facebook Messenger, Zoom, or Skype or whatever, to have matches against really good dart players. And I'm not doing what Bruce Robbins and those guys are doing just because I'm a night owl. I can't really get up at 4:00 in the morning to play those tournaments out of Australia. But man, that's awesome what they're doing.
Yeah, it's been interesting to kind of watch. And hey, everybody that's watching, if you're liking what's going on, don't forget to smash the like button, the heart button, all that stuff if you're on Facebook. But one of the things, like I've been talking with Will about this a little bit, and I've talked with others about this whole virtual situation. And one thing I'll agree with you, because our league is virtual. The first couple of matches, we had to get used to the pace. Like I would come back to the Aki, retrieving my darts, and the other person had already thrown and was retrieving. I'm like, wait a second, like I didn't see you throw. Not that I don't trust you, but the trust level has to be much higher how it's played right now. But do you see this becoming an actual piece of the game? I think we're going to see a fracture where you've got the stage presence of the game, and then you've got a virtual presence.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's just too big a tool not to use it to play. Like, there's so many great matches, and there's all kinds of tournaments, and you like playing guys from Newfoundland and guys from, California and everywhere, just that you wouldn't get a chance to play. No travel. It's all just from your house. Even after, I think, if things ever get back to normal, I still see this being used heavily, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's kind of been the conversation that's been going on, at least with myself and some other people, is how does this grow? Do we see, you're going to have a virtual league. You're going to have a virtual, kind of like the championship dart circuit virtual. And then you're going to have the live, and you can use the virtual to get to live. I mean, there's a lot of ways that this can be functioning. You've got to get camera setups so that it's you can see the player when they're throwing. You can see the dartboard. I honestly think we're going to see two forms of darts that are available.
Well, and a lot of the soft tip is done that way, and I've never played soft tip, so I'm not experienced on that at all. But I know they have the boards set up where you can see the screen and some guy from another part of the country or another country altogether playing. The difference, of course, being their scores are recorded and there's no worries about if it's in or not. But, I don't see how it won't be used. And as for the pace thing, the CDC or Championship Dart Circuit, they wanted us to slow down a little bit too. But I find that if I'm watching and you shoot your darts, and if you say what your score is and I see it, I don't need to worry about you entering your score. I'm shooting my turn, and usually with the Dart Connect, it's one or two buttons and you enter it, and then they watch the same kind of pace. With this Championship Dart Circuit, we were kind of asked to wait and slow down a little bit, and I think I've gotten into I like to go and keep up the pace going. I like to play, and I think it's more entertaining for the fans too, especially like I play a stream match Thursday night. Actually, I play one tonight. But I like to keep the pace going just because I think people watching it's more interesting too.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons on both sides. I think one, having a faster pace of play is nice. It's interesting because we're going to get people that are going to wait a little bit, and they're going to slow the pace down. You're going to get people that want to speed the pace up. You're going to get the Gerwin Prices that want to hit you in the head while you're coming off the Aki. There's just going to be that situation. They're going to have to come up with some rules as to how this plays. But I really think you're going to have virtual stars in darts because it opens the entire world up.
Jacob Taylor just got a sponsorship just playing online darts.
Yeah.
And he's been lighting it up and like consistent like nobody else, always sharp. And he's so far up in Newfoundland that, he just couldn't really travel. And that's usually where the sponsorship base was coming from, is if you're getting to tournaments and being seen and stuff like that. But now I think things have changed to the online where there's 400 or 500 people watching stream matches. So if you're throwing someone's barrels or using their flight systems or whatever, then you're advertising, and a lot of people are seeing you right then.
Yeah, and there's the replay piece of that puzzle. It's a forever situation. So, 10 years down the road, people can like we've talked about matches that you were in, and I went and watched some of it just because I hadn't watched it in a while. Yep. But, it's forever marketing. So I see that you're going to have virtual dart stars that never want to play on stage. They don't have the comfort level to go to that stage piece, and they're going to generate a living, and they're going to play from their garage or their family room or wherever they're at.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I think it's blowing up the sport of darts. We are soccer. We're soccer. And I'm excited about it. Well, and I say that because let's talk a little bit about the ladies' darts here real quick. Darts is the equalizer. And I've said this on 44 shows now. Darts is the equalizer. Men and women play from the same distance. We saw that with Fallon and Jeff. We saw what happened just this past weekend when it came to the two of them. And I have a question about that I want to ask you. But
sure.
When you think about it, the dartboard's the same distance. It's the same height. Doesn't matter if you're male or female.
Yep.
How's your feeling about playing the ladies?
Honestly, Fallon is next level, obviously. Obviously there's a lot of very good ones, very good ladies out there. Lisa Ashton actually went through Q school and got her tour card. So I'm sure beyond a shadow of a doubt, those girls could smoke me if you're not your very best. I mean, easily, because they're shooting great averages all the time. And I agree with Barry Hearn. They should all be able to play. No different. Like you said, it's the same distance, same everything. So it's not like, as soccer, I would say, the man, would have an advantage. I just don't think it's the case here with darts.
No, and when I say soccer, I'm looking at from a global standpoint. It's the sport that's global without NFL football is not global, and you're not going to have ladies. I'm sorry, ladies. You do not want to get hit by a 350-pound guy running, at 50 miles an hour at you. It doesn't
True.
Feel good.
No.
I've not played in the NFL, but I played college football, and it hurts. But when I look at darts and the ladies, and I look at that particular match between Fallon and Jeff. Jeff came out slow. Fallon was on. She was scoring really well. But the ladies typically, up until, getting now where we're seeing them play more in the PDC, they were playing shorter matches. It wasn't this longer format, which technically this format's longer than what she's used to. Do you think that may have played in her kind of the misstep that she ended up doing, and she kind of lost her game?
Yeah, I don't know, because like in the worlds, you get a break every 5 legs, and I think they had that too. Did they not in that first round? I don't remember.
Every 5 legs they had a break.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that she was winning, and Jeff, I think she just felt some pressure after she missed the 3 darts to win. And like, if she's anything like me, she'll be kicking herself for like maybe even the whole next leg, for missing that opportunity. And then Jeff got some confidence, and I feel bad for Jeff. He's had a tough go here just because of the COVID. He started so great, and hey, he was never below 95 in the tours. Like, I watch all the Dart Connect and stuff, and he was playing great. So he had to come off of that, and he's not allowed to play all these tournaments and online stuff that we're doing. So I think he just started a little slow, and she did an 11 and a 12, I think, in the 4 wins she had there, and the pressure's on. And that's a great thing about darts is it's about momentum, and it's about small breaks and missed opportunities, and game of millimeters. I don't know if that's what happened to her, because I think she just kind of went off the rails a little bit. But had it gone a little longer, maybe if it was like a race to 11 instead of a best of 11, maybe she'd have came back again and been really great again. But I think it's just unlucky. It's just a game of darts.
Yeah, I was kind of equating it to like a sprinter. The ladies have been playing this best of 3. Basically that's been their format for so long. And like a sprinter, you're used to running a 40-yard dash, and then all of a sudden you're running the mile. You come out running the dash, and then all of a sudden you kind of lose gas. This isn't anything about, hey, she's a female, so she couldn't keep up with him. It's hey, I've been playing this way for so long. Because if you look at it, she won the first 4. If she was playing another female under those things, or a male under those circumstances of how the BDO ran their tournaments, she would have won.
Well, the other thing is too, though, is Fallon. I just don't think so. Just because Fallon played the Icons of Darts, Modus, and she was playing, best of nines and playing 4, I think, matches in a day against top guys. I think it was just a momentum, and I think she was battling herself for not finishing it sooner. I think she's like Lisa Ashton. I think it may be a mental thing, but it won't be physical because it's not hard to do. Best of 11 in darts. I think it's just like I said. I don't think she ran out of gas at all. I think she showed that in the Worlds where she could go 3-4 sets no problem and play great. So I think it was just timing. She missed some opportunities, and I think she got a little discouraged because she missed them. And then Jeff started playing good, and he put the pressure back on her not to lose instead of for her to win. And I think that's all it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm totally in agreement with you. I kind of like to play devil's advocate sometime and look at the whole picture and say, okay, the ladies have been used to this. Could that be
smaller format?
She's been playing, some longer format matches of late, and not to take anything away from her at all. I get it. You miss that one double that you're like, I should have had it. And you're like, oh, and you take a breath. And the next thing you know, Jeff was just on. It's like he was nowhere to be found. And then all of a sudden he hit what he needed to. And it was like everything just started landing. It's sports.
Yeah. She missed the 3 at 24. And after he had missed the bullseye, and then he took out the 25. And then I think she missed 108. She missed one dart at double 18, but it was kind of blocked. But honestly, the ladies do play a shorter format, but let's be honest, darts in North America, the reason I love the championship dart circuit is best of 9, best of 11s, where I've gone to only a few American tournaments ever, but it's 2 out of 3, that's the men. So.
Yeah. Well, no, the shorter formats fit certain players. The longer formats fit certain players, and it's adjusting your game. It's kind of like the sprint mentality. If you're used to running a specific race and then you come to a different style race, you need to be able to adjust. And I don't want to take anything away from her because she's phenomenal. She broke through. She's the person to run the mile under 4. I'm excited to see where she goes. She's 26. And honestly, I think next time, and the ladies are about to play, and then if she gets to the alley pally, she's going to take this and remember it, and she won't let off the gas next time. She'll step on your throat and crush it.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one, and that 9 darter that was just hanging there. I was like, oh, that would have been pretty nice to see. So I want to get to playing in America and playing the U.S. Darts Masters. Getting the opportunity to, come down here and play. And then, of course, playing Michael Smith in the first round who, he did, at least in the fact, whenever I lose, I'm happy when I lose to someone that at least makes the finals or wins. Cause then I'm like, okay, I lost to the guy that won it. That always makes you feel better. He didn't win that particular tournament, but it was a tight match against Aspinall. But what was that situation being able to go against, Michael Smith, who's a big name in darts and a fun guy from what I know of him. What was that bit like?
That was really cool, honestly. I mean, he is a fun guy. I joked around with him more in the kind of got to meet him a little bit in the World Cup of Darts. And one thing I'll just say before anything else is your last guest was so friendly to me down in Germany. Kyle Anderson. Yeah. Those guys are so awesome. I can't tell you how many of the pros are so friendly, joking around, chatting in the back room. I saw way more pros at the World Cup than I did at the World Championships because we're all right here in the same room, and we're all playing today. It's not like the World Championships where they may not play for a week. Yeah. But, Michael Smith was there joking around, and he's very friendly, very nice fella. And to play him on stage in Vegas. Again, like those guys, if you play your very best and they play their very best, they're going to beat you 6-0. Like he can average, the 120s, you know what I mean? Which is madness. But if they're not at their best and they're a little off, or they're, not taking it seriously, or just, distracted or whatever, you can give them a little bit of a run. And, I got a few legs off my 6'4", maybe, I think it was. But I will tell you this. I went back and I watched the video on it, and it was 5-4 for him, and I had 164 left, and I hit the triple 20, and then all the crowd started cheering, making noise, and he's trying to quiet them down while I'm trying to shoot at the triple 18 and to see if I could take it out. And I think that's a pretty classy move, obviously, because, he can't afford to lose that kind of stuff, really, you know what I mean? And that, but he was trying to quiet the crowd down. But yeah, he's a great guy, very friendly. They all are. And, we're pretty great role models, to be honest, like for the game of darts.
Yeah, I've heard a lot that, there's different personalities that show up on stage. Of course, we all know like Peter Wright. He's super quiet. And I actually got to spend a few minutes talking to him in Vegas the year prior. I ran into him and we kind of were in the same area and we just talked. And he's quiet unless it's one-on-one. But they have a personality. And of course, the bully boy has a personality on stage, and at the same time, very much a class guy. I've talked to him once, and unfortunately it wasn't in an interview situation, but seems like a really nice guy. Sorry that you lost that. Would have loved to see you go on, but if you're going to lose, I guess it's not too bad to lose to Michael Smith. So
yeah, that was okay. It was a great experience, anyways. And the cool thing is, you get pictures of the two of you kind of mingling on the stage, and those are kind of cool to hang on to, especially when, like I said it before, it's not even something I really even thought would ever happen.
Yeah, it was a good year. Just a lot of cool things that happened for you, individually. What's the push for you? I mean, is there, we talked about Dawson and the tour card, and I'm kind of a little bit curious of your thoughts, because you two, of course, being somewhat close and talking and understanding his experience. But have you ever thought about, trying to cross the pond and get a tour card?
I want to try it. I want to go to Q school and try it. But I just retired July 1st. So now I do have the time if I ever did get my tour card. But I don't know that I would want to live there, or flying back and forth, I suppose, would be an option. But it's just always been a fun game for me. It's just always been just buddies and local stuff. And it's just to think of trying to play professionally, like that's just mind-boggling to me. I never would have even thought of it, And so I do want to go to Q school one day, just because I think it would be a great experience, and it's a great and I really enjoyed our time over there too. So I would like to try it, but if I ever got my tour card, I don't know what I would do anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I always wonder about that. Like, I always think, okay, if I won a lottery, would I really buy that $2 million house that I really like? Because what would I really do with it? But, yeah. And I'm in California, so $2 million is actually a 1-bedroom, but still, I'm curious because I get asked this question, and it comes up in comments and stuff, is what's it like for the younger player that wants to come up and is thinking of the pro aspect? We've got a lot of young players that are now gravitating to darts and this idea of, hey, I can be a pro. You've had the opportunity to go across the pond and be in this situation. You had that opportunity with Dawson. I know that you guys have stayed in touch, and he's expressed, some of what it was like for him. What would you have to say for a young, 19, 17-year-old that's looking to try and make that jump?
Well, for one thing, Dawson, he hit it perfect, right? The right age. He doesn't have a family here, kids and a house and a full-time job and a mortgage and all that stuff. So he hit it at a good time. But at the same time, he hasn't – Dawson's played more bigger tournaments than I have ever played. Like he's played all kinds of stuff. But, to get that experience that you get as you're 25, 28, or 30 or whatever, more matches, more pressure, more losses, and how you learn how to handle those and stuff. So I think that it's hard, but there's guys who are going to be naturals at it. And like John Part, I mean, what can you say? The guy was a 3-time world champion and, straight from Canada. So there's no reason why these kids can't do it. And they work at it and they practice. And there's so many really good ones, that are have that in their sights. So I don't see why they can't. I mean, it takes a lot of money. Like, I don't know who'd fund them. You know what I mean? That's, you got to have some money somewhere. To be honest, only the best players are actually like maybe getting some money on side exhibitions or something, but winning enough money to live on playing darts, you gotta be in the top 16, I'm thinking. But
yeah, I know, like Kyle Anderson said, if you're in the top 64, you can play darts for the most part. That can be, as long as you live within means. He said, if you're in the top 64, you can make it work. Top 16, top 32, you're going to be okay. But we're talking in the world. It's not in your country. It's the world. So
it is, yeah. And it's like, think about like just the draws. You know what I mean? There's no weak players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you just get unlucky and you draw Michael Smith, Michael Van Gerwen, Peter Wright, Gary Anderson, and you've got to try and win on this pro tour. And it's not like me. I go to the tournament and I pay my entry fee. These guys, like Dawson was, he had management, kind of counting on him. You know what I mean? And the added pressure to keep your management staff happy and stuff. It's a lot. And I'm not saying it can't be done, obviously, because if you're talented enough, you can make it happen. But the top 64 keep their tour card. The bottom 64 have to go back and try again if they lose it. So, it's tough. And I think it's tough. But, I mean, you got to be lucky and you got to take advantage of every opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a question here, and I tried to set up something so that this would be posted while we were talking, but it didn't happen. Michael Holdman here says, what is your setup and what kind of trial and error did you get your setup? But I want to give a shout out to your sponsors, of course, 180. And if you want to give a shout out, please feel free to. And if you want to talk about your barrel, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Dirty Jersey Darts make my shirts. Like I said, I kind of forgot about the interview, so I haven't got my dart shirt on. Plus, I have a match coming up here in a bit. But they make my jerseys, great shirts, comfortable, great guy. David is a great guy to deal with all the time. Smurf Darts is a local store here in Ontario, Randy Moffat, and he distributes obviously supplies all across Canada. And L-Style, I was using L-Style flights before I signed on with them as a sponsor. I just think they're the best stuff around. And 180, I signed a barrel deal with 180 a couple years ago, and I didn't really like, if anybody's seen my wall, I've got 35 or 40 sets of darts right on my wall beside my dartboard. I think it's an inexpensive game. I buy new darts all the time in the past, and I keep them. But they asked me what I wanted for a barrel, and it was just pretty simple. I give them kind of what I was using, just a little slightly different things on it. And they gave me a prototype in July, and in January I had my sets, and that was it. So they've been great to deal with as well, and great barrels and great company.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I want to make sure that we end and give you a respectful time so you can go get ready for it. So how can someone, if they wanted to reach out to you, how would they to find you on social media?
Just Jim Long, right? It's on Facebook and through Messenger. I do quite a bit of chatting already. I'll tell you, like, there's lots of people on there all the time. So, yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I couldn't tell you what my information is on there though. Just through Facebook is easy.
Nice. Well, Jim, I've really, it's been a pleasure. I could talk for hours with you just about darts, and there's plenty of other questions that I would love to ask you. So hopefully we can get you on the show again. I know there's questions that our youth that watch the show have, and you're a pleasure to hang out with. And I wish we could just go get a beer and just sit down and do darts and talk, and you could beat me. Because, oh, by the way, I got to put this out there because, Michael, you're keeping track. But Dylan beat me. Dylan's my 6-year-old. He beat me 4 times this weekend. So whatever that number is up to, he beat me 3 times in a row. Yeah. Legitimately. Literally, he's hitting ton plus constantly now. I can't keep up with him. It's funny. He had his first 180 2 days ago, wow. Like a natural 180. It wasn't, let me throw and pull the darts. It was 3 darts, 180. And I was like, oh. Right. So,
does he celebrate like Gerwin Price and try to throw you off?
He kind of. He was shocked himself. He ran and grabbed his tablet to take a picture, and yeah, he was pretty excited about it. So, but again, Jim, it's been a real pleasure having you on. If you hold on for a second, just after I shut the show down, I just have a personal question for you. Sure. But everybody, that's 30-0. Thanks, Don. Thanks for picking that off. So my son has beat me 30 times. This is awesome. But again, thank you so much for being on. If you hold on a second, I'm just going to close out the show.
Yep. All right. Thanks for having me. And, it was a real pleasure.
Thanks. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching this episode of Coffee and Darts with Jim Long. It's been a pleasure to have him on. Check out his barrel. Go check it out. I know like A to Z darts and Smurf darts and check out any, the local stockist in your area and see if they've got the 180 Jim Long. If not, ask them to get it and get yourself a set. They really are a nice looking barrel. Thanks for watching the show. We will see you guys on Saturday. Danny Luby is going to be on Saturday morning. So I'm going to do a midweek show with just me. We'll do questions and talk about stuff, and I'll tell you what's going on with Atomic Darts. But hang on, and on Saturday, Danny's going to be on, and we're gonna chat it up with him. So, guys, thanks for being on the show or hanging out on the show and being here with Jim Long. I will see you guys midweek and then again on Saturday. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.